Hi, I'm Paula. I'm an artist. Welcome to my channel. Today, I want to share with you ideas to get your sketchbook practice going. But right off the bat, I want to be super honest with you and tell you that I believe the first idea I'm going to share today is bad. Now, I'll explain why I'm sharing ugly art with you in just a second. But first, I wanted to take a moment to thank Arrtx for sending me these new acrylic paint markers that I'll be using today. And of course, as I use them throughout the video, I'll give you my opinion on these. With that out of the way, I really just want to jump right in, show you what I painted, and get creative. So, like I said, I am using this new set of Arrtx markers today. Let me show them to you before sharing my artistic failures. Here they are. I was very happy with the colors that are on the set. And they did not come with a swatch card, but I decided just to print one for my reference and tried them out a little. But honestly, I just filled it after I was done with the video mostly because the colors match the cap of the markers pretty accurately. So I started painting, and the first idea I had was to do a composition of a night sky within a circle. I wanted a crescent moon to come out of the circle, so I drew that, and with the lighter marker, I sketched the clouds below the moon. I filled those out with different shades of blue, and for the place where the sky met the moon, because of the light reflecting off of it, I thought I would do a gradient since acrylic markers with brush tips are easy to blend. Then I decided maybe I would use dots like stippling coming out of the moon to make that grading a little bit more fun and to make it look like it's shining. So far, so good. Highlights on the clouds. I used a lot of white to make the moon lighter, and then I wanted to have an element in the foreground, so I grabbed an orange marker and drew some branches, and this is where disaster hit, and I absolutely hated it. Hated with the strength of 1,000 suns. Because I've been working on managing my artistic tantrums, I did not rip the page out of the sketchbook, but decided to keep adding to it. So my first instinct was to just cover everything and forget about the circle and create a rectangle. Another great thing about acrylic markers is the fact that you can cover almost anything. So that's why I love them, and that's what I did. Some areas needed a couple of layers on top, but that was okay. Because I like the effect on the moon so much, I decided to do it on every edge of the clouds, using different colors just to make them play with each other. I was really enjoying the process of painting the dots, so I just carried through with those. Now, you already know this page does not end well. Not in my perspective anyhow, because I told you so at the very beginning of the video. I made ugly art. So why did I still choose to share it, and why did I not just rip the page off and start over? Well, because as I was creating all of these little dots, I was really calm and happy, and I was thinking on how I got into the habit of having artistic tantrums, having imposter syndrome, and being besties with my inner critic in the first place. Why do I have these intrusive thoughts? Destroy the art because it's bad, and then having this voice that is constantly telling me it's not good enough. Well, I realize it's because nowadays we are so easily exposed to so much beautiful art that it's hard to understand that the person who created that also created something they thought was ugly at a certain point in their artistic journey. The thing is, nobody really shares all of the ugly art they created, right? Because you either want to sell your art, or you want the praise, or because you want to put your best face forward, showing where all of your hard work and years of practice have taken you, and that's okay. But at some point, there has to be an understanding that the journey to a beautiful piece of art is paved on ugly things you made before that. Because it's in the mistakes and in the failed ideas where you learn how to do things the right way. You never see all of the awful art you have to create to use as practice to get good enough at something so that you can create something that partially matches whatever you imagine. So yeah, here I'm sharing this awful illustration. I really do not like the result. It's wonky. It doesn't say anything to me, but I decided to keep it in this video in the hopes that it inspires you to create anything. Ugly art, good art, fun art, Just remember, it's all part of the process. And this world of social media has us overexposed to people's best days. And that's literally not a reality. It's just the tip of the iceberg. So carry on creating for you, for your soul, for your peace and relaxation. And remember this little rant so you can also establish some boundaries on that friendship with your inner critic. I started the next idea by drawing a couple of curved lines with a red marker, and I'm just going to follow both lines I created with rainbow colors. With that rainbow goodness down, I painted the space between both rainbows with black. And here is where I'm going to use the part that I liked from the previous page. I'm going to create that dot effect on top, making the purple appear as if it's disintegrating into the black. A little bit like a portal open from these rainbows. My idea was to only add dots on the colors closest to the black, so I stopped adding dots on green and added lighter purple dots on top of the dark purple. But then I thought I needed dots on every single color, so I did add some yellow, orange, and red ones, just less quantity as I went further back. Then with a white marker, I added white dots to create the illusion of space. And from the middle of this portal, I drew a line coming out, and on its other end, it has an astronaut. I drew a super simple astronaut who's holding a flag and a star and has ears on its helmet. We do not know what type of creature it is because the visor is all black, keeping it simple. I colored it, which is really nice with the markers because since this is acrylic paint, it easily covers all of the pencil lines. I added details on top, outlined everything, added highlights, and here is my second page. And when I was done with it, I realized I had my sketchbook upside down. Oops. I still love it, and I think it would make for a really cool poster. That was nice, so now I wanted to do something painterly. Thought it would be nice to paint some heart-shaped leaves, so I looked for a reference online, found a plant I liked, and I used it to loosely draw my leaves. I was still in a very rainbowy mood, so I thought it would be cool to paint the leaves in rainbow order as well, playing with layering and gradients. I painted a leaf with a solid color and slowly worked the colors up to layer and to get them to look like an expressionist gradient. I'm keeping it super loose and loving every minute, just painting lines with all of the colors. Very, very painterly, truly using these markers as if I had 30 little brushes loaded with different colors of acrylic paint. This is one of my favorite ways to use acrylic paint markers, this loose, sketchy, very artistic way. And I have to tell you, these are definitely my favorite from my Arrtx acrylic markers. They are super juicy, there's no pumping, they flow easily, the ink is opaque, I love the color range, I love them. Love them, these are my new favorites. I actually love them so much that if this video reaches 3,000 likes, I'm gonna give a set away, because I cannot keep this goodness all to myself. I ran out of leaves, so I did not have enough space to add purple, but I still love the rainbowness of this little plant. I think as a print, it could really bring color to this space. Next one. For this one again, I wanted to use tons of color. I was having so much fun. I thought I would do a mandala, but to make it a little bit different, let's make a heart. So I painted a red heart in the middle, and immediately after I had it on, it bugged me that it was off center. So I marked the center and drew it again. After I drew it in the right spot, I started to paint colorful lines around that central heart, just grabbing colors at random, having fun with it, making it super, super colorful. As the heart grew, I realized I wanted some type of boundary, so I taped the border with washi tape and continued adding colors up to the edges. When the page was completely full and no white spaces were left, I started to get painterly with it again by using different shades of the same colors and combining them with the color next to them with small strokes of paint. Such a fun experience, just adding dots and lines everywhere, making it all come together. It's a simple idea, but I think it worked really, really well. And here it is as a huge poster because I love it and I can totally see it as wall art. Okay, next one. Again, I taped the border using washi tape, and I painted a bunch of colorful circles. And I'm saying painting because by now I've decided with acrylic markers with brush points, that is what you do. They're just like little loaded brushes, so I'm calling it painting even though they are markers. I then painted the background and gave some of the circles a second layer to make the color even. Then I drew tree trunks in the middle of each circle and added tiny hearts as leaves. And on top of those, I painted more tiny hearts with lighter colors to make them pop out more. I then painted a few trunks so it would look like a forest, and when I was done and I removed the tape, I was seriously underwhelmed by the page. So I decided to keep at it, and I outlined every tree and the trunks with black. Then I outlined the entire illustration and added a few of those lighter hearts on top of the outlines again to make them pop out more and be a little more playful. I'm not seriously amazed at how wonderfully this turned out, but I think it's cute. It was fun, so it's okay. Let's move on. I needed to try a tree again, so I taped the washi border again, and I was thinking I could go either with super neutral colors or bright and whimsical. And I chose bright. I drew a tree right in the middle of the page, and then I drew a horizon line. Painted the entire background with gray, and I started to draw lines for the ground. I just wanted the page to look flowy and organical, so I drew random lines at first and filled the spaces in between with more lines, having fun with it. Then I grabbed the darkest color of my chosen color palette, and I painted over the tree. Added a few spots of gray so it would look like there's spaces between the branches, and then with the same colors I used on the ground, I started some mark making on the canopy because I wanted this to look very painterly again. I truly enjoyed these markers so much to create these painterly effects. After the first layer was dry, I added the lightest colors on top just to make them look like highlights. Remove the tape, and here is that second attempt at a tree, and I actually like this one much more. I love it. It makes me happy, and I also think it would have worked and looked amazing with the neutral color palette as well. Okay, next one. I wanted to do a portrait, and I wanted it to be kind of bold and simple. My portraits are super layered and are usually not this straightforward, so I wanted to try a different approach and use colors to match the other page in the spread. Finished sketching my portrait, and then I just painted all of the areas of the drawing with solid colors. I did erase the pencil lines of the face a bit this time because I knew I was going to use a super light yellow and it would show through that. Usually, like I said before, I don't erase anything when I use these acrylic markers because they are so opaque that they easily cover the pencil lines. I decided to make all of the hair purple and paint on top of the flower crown covering that pink I initially colored because I decided I was only using purple and yellow. I created some shadows on the face, and then for the hair, I decided to add some branches with leaves flowing in the same way as the hair strands were flowing. To finish it, I drew a different type of flower crown on top by using my lightest yellows, creating these tiny, delicate flowers. Remove the tape, and here it is. Last idea of the day, and I really love it. I truly love these markers and all of the things I made today. I had so much fun using all of the colors, and of course this first page I still don't like, but I hope me sharing has somehow encouraged you. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to like it because if we reach 3,000 likes, I am going to send a set of these markers to one of you. These need to be shared. And if I reach that goal and have the giveaway, I'll let you know in the post section of my channel. With that, I hope you're having a wonderful day and that I'll see you next Friday. Bye!